we got Rocky Force to start it all off, and obviously I have to repeat myself for those on YouTube, but yeah, basically Dark it reminded everybody that the form that he showed in group stage was still possible in the playoffs when he beat Yo 3-1. So Tato, the favorites, but Dark, a dark horse.
Yeah. And interesting picks here. Roman, we've seen them a lot. Armenians mainly benefiting from their mule card, right? We can't really build anything on that rocky terrain, and moving that around just makes your wooden camp so much more efficient. But then the big question, what units are you going for?
Yeah, it becomes a bit of an issue at a certain point. I know that certain people don't really love the balance of the Armenians, but I think that maybe while they need a tweak or two, I actually really do. They have some really fun early game bonuses, and their eco can be quite strong. And I think in a balanced world, a civilization that has really strong eco options should actually have some limited land options. So I guess compared to some other civs that have insane eco and insane military, they may struggle. But the mule card on this map, as you said, combined with the fortified churches and maybe the early pikemen for Tato, all that stuff could play towards his favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wood upgrade is the main factor there. Just so much more efficiency, and that could be something he could rely on. And then I actually think that the unique unit is completely underrated there, the composite bowman for Armenians.
Well, it is interesting, right? It ignores armor, and Tato is up against a civilization that gets additional armor on infantry. So that's fun. You don't see that every day. It would almost be, I guess, like another matchup, which we never see, but would be like if Armenians were against Teutons that have a lot of extra armor, then maybe the composite bowman could be seen more there. But Nili, wasn't there a game where Tato played the Armenians, I think at Nili's Apartment Cup 5, where he went towers and pikemen in Feudal Age?
Oh, something wild there. Yeah, I remember. I think he lost that game, though, right?
It was against Hera, and I believe Hera was Khmer.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a crazy game where Tato was massively ahead in the early game, and then some Hera magic happened.
Yeah, I remember I was not casting that series. I was out in the city. I was walking from the hotel, getting some coffee. I was taking a break. And naturally, of course, as I'm out in public, I pull up Twitch to keep tabs. And I saw that the chat was going wild, and that like my data isn't very good, plus it's really pricey. But like I saw enough of the minimap to be like, holy crap, I need to see this. And so I had to like ice skate my way down the icy sidewalk back to the house to get there to watch the rest of the game.
I would have paid to see that.
Yeah. But
Shadow up without Loom, by the way.
Interesting.
Both players without Loom.
Could consider that kind of risky if Man-at-Arms could happen, but I think Tato will probably Q Loom after Feudal. And we haven't seen a lot of drushing. We have seen infantry, but it's been mainly Man-at-Arms, so Tato should have the time to get the upgrade. But Dark is sticking to the trend that he showed in group stage. He loves to open archers and then go into scouts here. So 1 on gold indicates at least some archer play. And I feel like we're in a very skirm spear meta on this map, so that's not been the norm.
Yeah, and Tato had Byzantines as an option, right? So cheaper spear skirm would have been in his arsenal. Decided against it. Probably we will see them on cross.
Yeah, maybe. And both players just kind of expecting, you know exactly where the opponent is, and instead of taking the risk to be out in the middle, which is exactly where all the army's going to go, people opting to take as much food from the middle as they can for the time being. Calculated risk in theory, because, like I said, we have seen Man-at-Arms in the past, but I think Tato's done some homework here. Dark hasn't done that a single time, so he's not expecting any real danger here.
Building the archer range with only one single villager, so not rushing there at all. Might even simply open skirms, although he collected that gold.
Yeah, that's true. And, I wonder if it's... I'm trying to do the math on the archer count he can make with 111 gold. So, is that
Should I help? Should I give you some fingers?
Yeah, help me out with that one. No, he's going back
45,
to... He's going back
45,
to gold now, so...
90? T90?
I feel like very judged right now. Like but like my brain was actually going, he can make 2.5 archers with this gold, which is not really how it works.
Well, that's actually, that's interesting, right? In 3rd grade, we would accept 2 as an answer, but in 7th grade, we kind of want to hear 2.5. But it depends on what grade your audience is.
I mean, that depends on the day. That depends on the day. I'll let the viewers say what grade they think they're in today. But a very interesting point here is that Tato didn't go beyond the range, and he didn't see the Vils on gold. So in a spear skirm meta, he may be assuming that is skirmishers. So he feels fine with the scout opening. That's actually not the case, and Tato doesn't have any awareness on that yet.
Interesting approaches here. For the full wall for Dark on the right-hand side. Tato knocking a bit at the front door. The archers should scared away. And Tato actually rushing the tower there with 2 villagers.
Yeah. Well, the thing I will say about that, both players have a position where they have lumber camped next to their gold. So one tower should be able to lock both of those down. I think that's intentional. People are definitely thinking about that on a map that's tough to wall. It makes life easier. I also love the confidence from Dark and the respect from Tato. If this was Tato against Doubt, for example, Doubt would have definitely added some spears. And Tato, if he didn't see Spearman, would have maybe dove in to get a Vil kill. But Tato knows against Dark and how good he's playing. He's unlikely to get a villager snipe there with 3 scouts.
Did you ever see Doubt open pop 19 no loom archer defense?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It feels like either he opens men-at-arms or scouts, right?
Yeah. It doesn't... Archer opening for Doubt is not really the play. Now, Tato gets in on the other side, and I think Dark was a little distracted there because of the other scouts.
He actually looked. He deleted the palisade.
Oh.
That was intentional.
Okay. That's interesting. Am I crazy to think that Dark is just playing with incredible amounts of confidence, and he was against Yo as well?
Oh, right now, defense looks really solid.
Yeah. Now, what's not ideal, I guess, is that Tato's not really... Tato's completely fine at home, right? Like, Tato hasn't been pressured at all. He's simply just making some scouts and adapting. And so I think what Dark is expecting is he's expecting a skirmisher follow-up and then to have the scouts to kill that. But Tato isn't even going for skirms.
Oh, Tristan. He's only collecting 50 gold to get to 100 and then afford bloodlines.
Okay. Tato runs in. It just feels like both players are trying to feel the other out here. It's kind of like the start of a football match where neither team takes any big risks. And they're just trying to get a flow for possession of the game. That's a weird comparison. I know, this is esports. It's not sports. But Dark has an advance forward. Tato's not diving for the kills that maybe he could have tried to get. Lots of respect for each other here.
So 1-0 KD. Next upgrade that we're expecting should be bloodlines. Second stable! Wow, he will play massive feudal age, but without horse color.
So this is something that Tato does that Yo doesn't do and didn't do in the previous series. Tato loves his all-ins, and I think more so these days than he did in the past. I'm seeing Castle Age all-in from Tato all the time now, and especially on this map. So Yo probably would just want to get to Knights as quickly as possible, and then what Dark was able to do is punish. But it's an interesting situation. These archers are going to come forward. Dark is not aware of what's over here yet, and he will see a tower. And those scouts are waiting.
He didn't scout for such a long time. He has no idea about the upgrades. Bloodlines is in. Armor's coming in pretty soon as well.
Yeah, perfect from Tato. Tato's own scouts are distracting Dark in the back. Dark has just been using those scouts to match Tato there, but Tato's just so patient to start the day, and that's a lot of free archer kills. Perfect start for the Spaniard.
The perfect lineup there with the upgrades as well. Now Dark is trying to follow it up with his own bloodlines, but it will be 11 scouts against 7.
I love how Tato adapted this. He's not just doing what he's done every other time or what players have done every other time. He adapted to the situation. He saw the archers. He then knew, probably based on homework as well, because he watched Dark's games, to know that Dark would follow that up with scouts. And so he said, why would I play into skirms where he could potentially go full scout archer against me? Now, he needs to be careful here. The spearman could eventually be a problem, but when you're up against archers, you're never going to complain about that many archer kills there.
But we also have to say, against full feudal age scout all-in, Romans is the best civ at defending because of the extra armor on the spearman.
Agreed. I actually think this is where... And Tato's adding his own barracks. Oh my goodness. We are going to see pikemen, I think. But I would say maybe in a normal game, Tato could go for archers now. But yes, Armenians are the only civilization that can go pikemen and longsword in feudal age. Because he made spears, I think it will be pikes. But maybe longsword could be on the cards too.
Oh man, that would be crazy. There's still some gold for Dark, has one archer, but obviously lost most of his. So indeed, it switched into it. Castle Age infantry in feudal.
Let's go. Where are the infantry fans? Let's go. I mean, Dark has the extra armor, but pikeman's a pretty big jump. I actually don't really compare spearman versus pike stats that frequently because I guess you're never really seeing it in the same circumstances. So now it feels important to compare. There's a 10 HP increase for pikes. There's a 4 base attack, or sorry, 1 base attack increase, but the bonus damage is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, and now Tato tries to dive. Tower needs to be built, and the spearmen are on the right side for Tato and the wrong side for Dark.
Yeah, I can't really tell exactly how this is working out for Dark, but it just seems as though, even though he'll kill the pikes, Tato's scouts are blocking the entrance into Dark's base. So Tato snipes a Vil. He did lose his pikeman, but he'll snipe another Vil, and then keep moving through. In fact, he sniped 3 villagers.
Villagers dead, but also lost some scout HP here. Needs to run away, and Dark will weather the storm. Tato behind this is stopping production, is thinking about castling.
Yep, and still would have the scouts to run around. I think that's the biggest thing right now, is these scouts, if they're microed properly, can still find some value. And Dark is not able to advance forward with all his spears and archers. So, crazy start here from Tato. This is what I think is going to be the difference today if you compare... this series for Dark to the series from Yo. Yo was never able to have the craziness to send Dark's way as well. It was always reacting to Dark. But this is what people love about Tato.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here. What was his feudal all-in account? 2.2k or something?
Yeah, the feudal boy. Exactly. Yeah, he would say it in the username, and then he was gonna stay in feudal age, and he was still pretty close to, if not in that top 100.
There is a tree behind those 2 houses.
Ah, okay.
So the scouts can't escape.
All right. Well, you still want to micro them because you don't want those spearmen to your base. So that's good work from Tato. In the middle, Dark is only advancing forward with 2 scouts. So I think Tato's got pretty nice control. But how do you see this in the mid game? Obviously, a lot of fighting is about to take place, but it could be kind of dangerous to play infantry against the Romans if you're Armenians, right?
Well, you could build 200 swordmen in Castle Age, right? I think, actually, like, pikemen, light cav, siege all-in could make a lot of sense here.
Okay. Well, Tato hasn't collected any stones, so I don't see any plans for him to build the second TC. Usually, though, people would just buy that from the market, and he has the market. And the mule cart has paid off big time for him to keep moving that towards the middle. He may overchop there, which could be to his benefit to get to the golden stone, but sometimes players just don't realize that, and then they can get raided there.
Mm-hmm. Right now he has all the map control, right? So it doesn't really hurt him. 2 scouts at the left-hand side, trying to see if they can find anything. They're well upgraded, but not a lot of HP.
I mean, 3 villager kills from Tato, but he's only 30 seconds faster to the next stage, and the res collected is even, and that's that Roman efficiency. So Tato needed to get some damage dealt. I love how he's tracking the scouts from the left. Knows that Dark's thinking about some pressure there. And there's light cap from him. And he might do the exact same to Dark soon.
No siege workshop. Goes for the fortified church. Obviously instant relic spawn there. And goes for the warrior priest.
Yeah, and I think he'll maybe head to the middle to get that relic as quickly as possible. His pikes advance forward. And Dark is blocking the way, like literally blocking the way Didn't even move the spearman. Wow. He actually kept 5 of those in a line and moved the others away. And now needs to shift that pikeman to the side to let the scouts go through. That's sick.
Meanwhile, Tato is on stone and is adding town centers, so it won't be the all-in fields that he has enough map control, that he has enough chances.
Dude, Nilly, I mean, maybe I'm just too noob-brained and I'm getting too excited about this, but he is making a spearman wall on both sides of that opening.
Yeah, looks really good.
I mean, I feel like I'm looking at a campaign right now. But that is amazing. Oh, wow.
I would not jump through. If I have 5 light cav, I'm not taking the risk.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes people may assume that those are on attack stance and they get close, and then the pikemen will move out of position, but those are very clearly on stand ground, so they will not move. That does the job.
Tato picking up more relics. Not a lot of stuff happening right now.
Yep.
And then you try to think, okay, how do I get ahead? Make sure to get all eco upgrades. Make sure to control map control, some outposts at the side, and that you always have vision and don't get surprised by anything.
For people who appreciate that tiny detail of the pikeman wall, I will tell you that I'm pretty certain that there are multiple things both players have hidden that they may show today. There's some very tiny details that others have not done that they will show, just based on some conversations. Now I could be just teasing you for, you know, and being wrong, but here goes the light cap. Look, the light cap can't go through, and if they try and click through, they will just get poked by the pikeman wall.
That's so nice. That's so nice. Yeah, and if you think, like, half a year ago, we would have thought, okay, Tato against Dark. Tato can keep some strategies against maybe Leary in the semifinal.
Yeah.
But with how lethal Dark looked, that won't be an option anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you beat Mr. Yo the way you did, and a lot of respect is gained. And Tato, he is happy with the relic count, but he could get raided here. Dark is sending Light Cav into his base. Dark has also moved the pikeman wall, and they've relocated to kill a Light Cav there. Dark still aiming for a villager kill. There are some knights diving under the golds. They can run right past, actually. Tato missed a potential conversion, and things are starting to finally really heat up here.
Okay. Now it's getting really tricky. 30 military against 20. Quite a lot of mobility. Lightcav trying to die for the Monk.
And Monk should make it into the TC. Well played from Tato. The Knights from Dark are getting some decent value on the left of this, though. And then there's also Scorpions advancing forward from Dark in very heavy numbers, right through the middle and right towards that fortified church.
Rushing the university, he wants to get ballistics for those Scorpions, and then Tato might struggle with some answers. Needs mangonels.
Yeah. Ballistic Scorpions. Remember, these Scorpions are discounted for the Romans. The ballistics change used to be something that only affected the Romans. No one would ever research it when when it was only for the Romans. Then the devs made all civilizations get access to ballistics for their Scorpions, and now everyone's doing it with the Romans and other civs. So I think it took other civs being able to do it to really make everyone think about doing it, even with the Romans.
If you want to have your casual ladder win today, Roman Khmer composition in team games feels really strong right now.
Yeah, it's really it's incredible, especially if you can get I'm forgetting the name of the map, but it's a map where you have your flanks starting in the middle of the map. There's water around the outside, coastal forest. Just put your Scorpion player on the front, and best of luck to the other team. Man, what a game, Nilly. Again, I gotta hand it to Dark. He's played absolutely incredible to start it off. There's always a question of, are you going to be able to do this every single day? With Tato, we expect it. But with Dark, even though it's close, he's slightly ahead of Tato with Vils, has some nice army control, and is really making Tato work for this.
Is scared castle by Tato. I'm surprised that he's building it very defensively, trying to stop the rage through the middle. I would have expected him to move out a bit further in the center area to get more control over the gold and stone.
Well, I think that if anyone's going to respect the Roman Scorpions and the ballistics, it's probably going to be Tato. Tato went for Khmer Scorpions in previous games, and that some of those games might be reasons we see nerfs to the Khmer and to even Scorpions potentially. So he knows, and it's the first game. You don't want any big mistakes, especially in a game that's been this close. So that castle stops any movement through the middle. And Dark didn't actually move through the middle either. He's just raiding in the north. Or, sorry, defending from raids in the north.
Ah, that's a nice raid here with the Knights and Pikemen. That's no reaction with the villagers or a late one, but Tato just clicked on the ground.
It's funny how the archers are actually in the tower from Dark from earlier. Never really made too many of them. And Tato's raid, it doesn't accomplish a ton with kills, but the inefficiency and the focus for Dark is taken away. And now Tato's castle defends from some light cav diving for the mangonels. And Tato is on the way to the Imperial Age with 5 relics in that monastery.
And now those Scorpions in the middle are really unprotected against 3 mangonels. That could be some nice kills for Tato, but Dark wisely backing up.
I think Dark realized that he's exposed and that something could happen. There is an outpost from Tato, so he knows Tato will be on the prowl. And he as well clicks up to Imp. Bills will come to the middle to build his own castle. And this castle should complete. I don't expect Tato to really dive. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Tato's moving forward now.
Well, if he feels Imp timing will be better, forward castle could be an option. Tries to test the waters. Thinks better of it.
So, we have to talk about it. Armenians do not get bombard cannon. And if you do not get access to bombard cannon, at least most pro players are not considering Onager. Looking at the university tech tree right now for the Armenians. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because it doesn't show in Capture Age. Can you remind me if they get siege engineers?
It doesn't show in Capture Age?
Maybe I'm missing it.
That's disappointing.
Siege engineers is a massive one that really should be listed, I think. But maybe I'm missing it.
Siege.
Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, Capture Age, you're great. I just suck. Yeah, no siege engineers. So that does affect how you can compete with Scorpions. Man.
But Tato doesn't have it.
But I think if you make 5 mangonels, you're considering Onager, right? Like that seems like the number where you're going to that next level.
Yeah, I think so. Ooh, goes in a bit deep against the castle. Ooh, doesn't take a lot of damage. Survives with all of his units. And now will be probably Onager full trap.
Yeah, I think so. And Tato will be on Trebs pretty fast. He also has some composite bowmen. The castle fire, of course, helps. And Dark might struggle to find the engagements and even find the time to get heavy Scorpion. Tato...
The right-hand side instantly stopped.
Yeah. Dark is bringing some army and villagers on the left, too. Just for vision mainly, but at least he's starting to realize how important the sides can be. But the middle is absolutely key. And Tato's maybe gone a little too far here. And, oh, good engagement. He's pressuring these siege workshops right now with his mangonels.
And Heavy Scorpion could be denied here. Down to 800 HP. Cancels it. And researches it in further behind. Siege
wow.
workshop.
I mean, I'd be thinking if I'm going to go for Onager, I don't want to lose any of my units. But Tato felt pretty confident there. And I'd like to see Tato build another castle next to his trebuchet right now. Double down on the castles. Double down on the control of the middle.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Middle control is really important. It feels like Dark realizes, okay, I can't really contest the middle. Let's try to make something happen on the sides. And he's raiding from the right and the left-hand side.
Yep, Tato can't fully wall that. And Tato may actually be inclined to castle this, Nilly. Sometimes, if you want to focus middle, you just want a castle in your base. This is annoying. Pikemen, archers, a monk, and a villager building stables. This could eventually add up. Tato did not immediately react. And Onager completes. But yeah, he's just not really sending a lot of military back here. Dark is a 15 villager lead. And certainly an efficiency lead.
And Tato also doesn't see a single trap. Ballistas is even being squeezed in. So Dark, he basically is signaling, okay, I will give you the middle. I can't kill your castles anyway. So I would have thought Tato builds them at the side. But Tato doubles down in the middle.
I mean, so ballistas, so the Scorpions are already cheap because it's Romans. And then ballistas, they fire faster. And then, of course, affected by ballistics. These are all big things. But it doesn't help you engage against a castle. Dark's raids on the outside are just so annoying. And there will be night production from the backside, too. So Tato has to eventually come back here to deal with this. But like Dark needs Trebs to push the middle. He also doesn't have bomber cannon.
The Scorpions.
I think he believes he can take out the Onagers with them, but that's a little too risky for me.
Did he not see the Onager upgrade before that, maybe?
Dark has been playing with some crazy confidence. I honestly think that he just considered my opponent doesn't get siege engineers, so I could maybe get some kills, but he's not Khmer. He doesn't have that much range.
Now the defensive castle for Teto wants to stop the raid, but Dark, he's trying to take the right-hand side. Feels like mobility is his advantage now. Yeah,
castle will come on the right. I mean, if Dark produces from these stables and sees the castle, which he does, that will be annoying for Tato to complete. Tato spots the light cav, and Tato onagering and trebbing the middle still. So Tato just honestly needs even more castles defensively if this continues, because Dark is not giving up. 30 villager lead. He might not have the relics, but Tato's eco is so inefficient at the moment.
Tato's chopping through the middle. Trestney's into the wood line.
Into the wood line. Which wood line? Oh, this wood line. He's onager cutting through the middle. He says, fine, like, you think I can't get to the outside? I have a way to do that.
And Dark is cutting as well.
Oh, man. This is sick. I don't think we've ever seen a game with double onager on this map.
Very, very rare. And both are using the trees. Maybe we're running out of trees this game.
Seriously.
Both are cutting too much.
Well, both civilizations are kind of slow in the late game, so it's hard to finish off the other. And Dark still has 30 Scorpions that, if they find engagements, will probably slaughter everything. I'm worried that Tato's gone too far with his composite bowman. He might not be able to get anywhere safe with those.
It's 17. He has 56 overall, so the main flock will still survive. But yeah, that's a quite ambitious endeavor.
Remember, there's most of the stone and gold is in the middle. So Dark, that is a concern for him right now. He's still taking some. And Tato's onagers are a bit of a liability on their own on the left there, or I guess towards the middle. So nice shot from Dark to snipe some onagers. Tato realizes that. But nice shot from Tato. This forward castle on the right side from Dark, that's getting trebbed back almost as fast as it was built.
Yeah, that lets all those composite bowmen survive. 2 volleys and... yeah, all the builds dead. We'll clear up those 2 traps as well.
Oh, man.
Won't mind this.
Dark's onagers in the middle. He didn't know about that castle. There's a lot of different things to focus on right now. And so he loses 3 onagers. He does know about that. And he does land some shots with his own onagers towards the opening in the middle. But just so many things happening right now. And here come the Scorpions, by the way. Slow and steady. But to where that castle was for Dark.
Tato's trap advantage. It's just so big. Has 3. But now 3 for Dark as well. And he's second now, and he's pressuring the center castle.
And I would love to see Siege Ram for Dark. I just don't know if he has the resources for it. And his trebs are here, Nilly. Dark has found the moment to try and go for this because he knows Tato's distracted. If Tato can't lose that castle, this is a really important moment for Tato.
No masonry. Maybe a mistake there. Onagers around. And maybe Dark can push this. He's now getting control over the gold again. Stone is running dry, though.
Great shots here from Dark. That's incredible micro, actually. He used the Scorpions to help out. He's still microing his onagers. He has a disadvantage in the onager numbers. But there's still Scorpions here. He got good enough trades, and he takes the castle down. And he'll build a castle of his own on the left side.
Scorpions. If you trade 2 Scorpions against 1 onager, that's fine if you're Romans.
Yeah. And he'll be queuing up more. There is someone outside that is mowing their grass or something right now. So if anyone hears a noise, I really apologize. I tried to inform everyone in the neighborhood, hey, Titans League is happening. Hey, make sure you show up and watch. Hey, I don't know if that's why my neighbors don't like me, but
I'm surprised that you had to inform them in the first place. I thought they were watching anyways.
I didn't actually do that, by the way. That would be really nerdy. But apologies if anyone hears anything. Man, this Treb war nearly. The Scorpions on the right side from Dark making progress. Tato is having some tough times right now.
Up 200 against 165. Tato struggling a bit. Needs to hold that left-hand side castle. Trap count still looks healthy. Onager shots need to connect.
Yeah, the micro from Dark is pretty solid. I did see that Tato got upgrades to convert siege for his monks. I like that. but I'm not loving his castle positions if he loses this one. Having said that, Dark only has this one castle himself. So if he loses this castle, he won't be able to make any more trebs.
Castle survives. Castle survives.
And the raids continue, Nilly. There's still Lycav showing up every so often. And the trebuchet for Tato will go down. Dark can take some stone in the middle. He can take some gold in the middle. What a crazy player Dark is.
That's so sick. And we said Romans, not a civilization of mobility. Well, Dark is proving us wrong.
Yeah, and use the Scorpions. Just you simply use the Scorpions. It doesn't feel like they're mobile, but it's just so tough to kill. Again, think of all the bonuses that apply, right? You have the firing speed, you have the discount, you then have the Roman eco bonus in the first place, and then, well, I think I actually said all of them. Oh, and then ballistics, of course, which has certainly been a change for the game as a whole. And I think Tato might be running out of ideas right now.
His next idea is a switch into light cav.
Or call the GG, because he's at 145 pop. Dark, who beat Mr. Yo 3-1 in the round of 12, continues his incredible form. And what a great job here. When you saw Tato with 5 relics, when you saw the name, I'm sure it was very easy to feel, well, Tato's got this one. Didn't have it. What a game. Well played.
Really well played. Maybe we could think about the castle placement for Tato. Maybe just at the right-hand side and defend it a bit more. And the game is easier for you to play.
Well, I personally think the castles were great. He had like 4 of them. I mean, he still has 2. He had 2 one in the middle, 1 towards the left. The issue for him was Dark's attack on the sides he could not deal with. Or if he had to deal with it, like that castle on the right side, it just pulled him out of position. So this map is usually a lot of fighting through the middle. You would never expected the Scorpions on the right side to be pushing in like it did. But nearly, there was a TC here. There were villagers here. These Scorpions killed all that. Tato had to constantly react to it. And it was like, Tato was never able to get into an offensive comp to do damage to Dark. And Dark was just picking him apart there. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah, really love it. I said composite bowmen are underrated. Well, not against Scorpions.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a really good comp against Armenians. They don't get bomber cannon. They don't get siege engineers. The other thing that Armenians would typically do is a lot of infantry. And you can't go for a lot of infantry against Scorpions. So, a very nice matchup. I think Tato might be kicking himself that he wasn't a bit more aggressive in Castle Age, but honestly, it was pretty understandable to try and go for the imp timing there to win the Treb War.
Yeah, I like that. Just needed to stabilize a bit more, it felt like. Like, if he gets Redemption Monks and Onagers, yeah.
All right.
Just too much happening.
So, game number 2, we find ourselves on the map that Dark picked for his draft, and this is actually the map that Dark won his 4th game against Yo on. So, he's very capable here. But to your point, Neely, I think Tato felt like he's got to win 3 anyways, and what better way to kind of tie things up than to take a home map away from your opponent.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if he thinks, okay, I want to win against potentially Leary later on. Might be a thought process, and now he gives himself to have a 3-1 and still hide one of his home maps. So that, I think, might be the thought process there. Something that I want to mention, look at the relic spawn here.
Yeah, 3 across the middle in a line almost, and then we do have 2 towards the right corners there. Right corner there, so closer to Tato. So thankfully we don't have Lithuanians involved. I think that would be a little bit more of a headache for me. It's definitely better for Tato in that way. Maybe some people would say slightly rigged, but I would be willing to bet that we will not even see all 5 relics collected in this game.
Yeah, it also feels like the neutral golds are better for Dark to equal that out. 1,600 gold on the piles there. That's often worth more than a relic can generate in a game.
I don't know if we discussed it, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we had some complaints from players. We're basically pointing out that on Cross, if you had a back pond and your opponent had more of a side pond, that it was way better for the player with the back pond. And so we did what we could to balance that. And essentially what that balance change was is in relation to the TC and the pawns, it should always be identical. So you could see that now. Like they're both slightly above. Like if you were to make a straight line from the east and west pawn, they're slightly above that. And I think what that can actually also allow people to do now is there's a little bit more guessing games and assuming involved. So technically, if you're in Tato's position, you should kind of know that Dark is over to the east, most likely, and in that location. And the reason I bring that up is because I've seen multiple players, but Dark being one of them, send Vills before they have some scouting intel with that knowledge in mind. So they will just YOLO their Vill across the map, knowing or assuming their opponent will be docked in a certain position. So I think that definitely changes things.
Mm-hmm. And we had the same discussion yesterday, right? How much do you want to have like randomization in map compared to fairness? This will obviously lead to more sneak villagers because you simply have more information already.
Yep.
And probably more deer pushing because you don't need to scout that much.
Yeah. The alternative, of course, is, well, they might need to scout a little bit more, but one person just has a way better map to wall and have one pawn safe. So I expect to do more tweaks on this in the future, but I think it's important to just point all of that out. Especially, okay, I got a little too excited. Dark was building a forward house, and I thought he was already walking. But dude, Neely, we've also seen players as a result walk their Vill underneath the opponent's TC or right by their wood line. Like people like Valis twice just YOLO'd his Vill forward, and the opponent saw him because he didn't scout, and you don't know exactly where they're taking resources and building houses and whatnot.
Yeah, that obviously will happen completely blindly going forward. Is a risky move. And now you can see, still another deer pushed. Cross was one of the maps where we were pushing deer the least.
Yep.
But maybe that changes now.
Well, but the other thing is, the Japanese, they have potential to go man-at-arms. And that man-at-arm investment feels a little bit more justifiable if you have that extra food. So I'm seeing Dark Wall now. I'm watching the wood count. It's not quite there to build a barracks, but it feels like he could be opting for man-at-arms. I'm seeing Vills going to stragglers, and that Vill is chilling near the wall.
The clue is that he's not going for a fourth fishing ship.
Yep. And there's the barracks. And actually, pretty crazy, but Tato didn't see the barracks, so he's not going to go back and scout that area most likely. He's going to verify other things. He will look to the pond. He will look for the gold. He will look for the berries, but that barracks is up, and this is something you always have to respect.
Didn't he see the Vill, though?
Maybe he didn't.
I thought he was just walking around while the Vill was collecting gold there.
Yeah. The fact that he didn't double back tells me he didn't see the Vill, because I think he would always confirm that, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So look at Tato, outpost in the south, lovely move. That will get more vision, as well as all of his buildings will, when he gets Town Watch for free with the Byzantines. And Tato is bringing a villager through the middle. He scouted the pond, and that Vill's on the way. And Dark knows there is a pond potential in the south, and the villagers are going to pass each other. They bump into each other. And did the players notice that?
Are they telling the story? It feels like Tato knows he's sending the scout there. Feels like Dark just sent them to the bottom and might not know it.
Yeah, I don't think Dark knows. His scout obviously is focusing on where Tato's pond is. He sees that. His Vill will get to the south.
Tato just queued a transport. Not really sure what happened there with the hotkeys.
Okay, you got 8 seconds to fight this off if you're Dark. Once that scout's in feudal, you have a problem. Okay, let's see if Dark can quick wall. I've seen a couple crazy quick walls from him. He'll fight for a second. Usually there's a quick wall attempt. And he says, nope, not going to quick wall attempt at all. And he's going to find his own Vill from Tato. Now, Tato's pretty exceptional with quick walls. Will Tato do it? There's still man-at-arms to focus on. The man-at-arms are hitting the golds. And Tato walls in the villager.
Crazy. And also saved his gold at the same time. Maybe
but
trap potential there. He was thinking about it.
The palisade's going down. The palisade's going down for Tato. He's too distracted on everything else. And the scout got so far away, and Tato cannot get it in the end. So we have a lot happening. We have the forward dock from Tato, which Dark cannot see, but I think he expected because he added a fire. We have the man-at-arms on the mining camp. And then another villager from Dark coming to the south. Sorry, Nilly, a lot to say, but this is cross for you.
That's just the beauty of the map, right? So much happening and so many different approaches. That's why this map is so tough to play.
Yeah, and remember, Tato didn't have scouting intel on the barracks because he was killing that Vil. So, well done from him, honestly, not to lose more. I think you and I have both experienced games where missing the critical scouting against Man-at-Arms on this map can just completely undo you.
Yeah. I remember games against Cabot, and suddenly he shows up with Hunt's Man-at-Arms against me. And I just resign after 11 minutes.
Yep, it's like, well, who's going to go Man-at-Arms with Huns, right? Wow, so a lot to manage here. And range for Dark will be the follow-up. Expected. Man-at-Arms still giving him lots of value, but hasn't killed any Vils just yet.
Ooh, Spearman takes a lot of damage. Oh, that's really good for Dark.
That was really good micro there. Really good micro. Now, unfortunately for him, he didn't get the final hit, so his scout does go down, but I think you're still kind of happy with the control those Man-at-Arms have given you if you're Dark.
2v3 fires there. Even Byzantines can't win that. Tries to use the dog. Lost quite a lot of HP on it already.
I think it's really important for Dark to maybe think about an outpost in the south right now, because Tato knows he's most likely headed back there. So he will add 2 fishing ships. Tato's wisely sending an archer to the south, I think. Maybe he's looking for the Man-at-Arms. I think Dark is doing what I just said. That's a villager getting pulled to double check. And then in the north, Tato outposting, we'll see that Dark is also there. Wow, so much activity for these two.
Tato's contesting all 4 pawns.
Yeah, absolutely is. And he should be able to complete the dock in the south because Dark's villager's just walking by. Dark will see it now. Tato sees it too. There's still Man-at-Arms. There will be Man-at-Arms, and there will be skirms for Dark that will pressure the gold. So, hard, even for us, while spectating, to get everything right. And the players have honestly played a near perfect game. This is incredible.
Tato with the demo. Tries to get it.
That's really good defense from Dark. He obviously got hit, but now he has his own demo, and he has his weak ships in the back, and he'll pull back to repair. Villager
Pressure
still attacking in the south. Dark quick-walled in Tato's villager, which is incredible, as he was on the gold. Explain to me how that's possible, Nilly. Explain to me how that's possible.
Like, I couldn't even observe everything. Like, how many hands does this guy have?
It's ridiculous. I mean, there are moments where I watch and I say, oh man, I can't wait to play the game. And I cannot wait to try and replicate that. And then moments like that actually make me so happy I'm a caster. I'm like, I'm just giving up on the dream when I see that. Wow.
There's always next Silver League.
No, the rules don't allow me to do it, bro.
Oh, true.
Can you change the rules so I can embarrass myself further? Repairs in the south from Dark. Walls in the north from Dark. Doesn't have fletching yet, and he needs the blacksmith for that. And honestly, it's hard for me to say who's winning. It feels like a very even game. The Byzantines are more dangerous the longer the game goes on, but Dark has the slight res collected lead.
Yeah, due to his fishing ships, right? He's sitting at 8 Japanese fishing ships against 6 from the Byzantines. But Tato should be happy. Like, contesting the water on 3 different pawns while having a safe one. That's the Byzantine dream.
Yeah, this is true. And Tato aiming to get through with those archers in the north. Those are some weak villagers walling, and there is a 1-tile gap that could lead to that villager dying. It does. I think Tato won't kill another, though. That's not too bad for Dark. And Dark's Man-at-Arms still getting value. They probably won't kill much, but I think it's safe to say that it's bought Dark a lot of control in the other areas of the map after that opening.
Yeah. And he could decide, okay, how much more army do I want to go for on land? And sees, okay, you have enough defense, and we'll think about castling now.
Yeah. And Tato's palisades in the middle are still there, and so I continually look there out of habit. But those are not units, people. Those are just random palisades from a quick wall. And Dark should click up here to castle. And he still hasn't lost a single fishing ship, if I'm not wrong. Really well played.
Kitty 3-2. I think those were 2 villagers. Yeah.
I'm so impressed with Dark. It's incredible, dude. Like, look at him micro back the weak ships just perfectly every single time on the left side, while also microing through the middle. He's playing
3 fires on 26 HP combined.
It's the best level I've ever seen from him, hands down. But, like, the consistency of every single aspect of his play is good enough to maybe... Is it too crazy to say get to the finals? Maybe that's too crazy, but it feels like it.
Well, let's just say top 4 in an S2 top 4 in an S2 tournament is crazy already.
Also, I saw supplies come in. Now, that may have been a misclick, but in theory, if the opponent is going skirms, longswords could be an option. So maybe a bit of a masterpiece plan here for Dark. And repairs continue. Again, it just seems so good. This is Tato we're talking about on the other side. Tato's normally the one who has the edge on a map like this. And we have man-at-arms in production, armor on the way. Are we about to see Japanese longswordsmen in competitive AoE 2?
That would be crazy. It is a great unit against Skirm Camel, a typical army composition for Byzantines.
Yep.
And it's hidden for now.
Dark has some idols he will have to sort out. I'm noticing on the berries, so hopefully he presses that key, because that's stressing me out, and he does. Still getting kills on water. The fishing ship count is 18 at the moment, which is no joke. Did I say 18? I meant to say something else. See, he's going to be at about 13 soon, sorry. But Tato hangs on in the south, and you make one mistake. Tato could possibly kill your fish.
Demo at the left-hand side could get the villager in 2 fires. That's 1.
The skirm could get the Vil, though. The skirm is on the Vil. And now in the middle, we will have longsword. I still don't know if Tato spotted that. And longswords can take up buildings very quickly.
Tato had a villager in the middle. Did he think he had a timing there for the forward siege workshop?
Feels like it. That would make the most sense. I don't know why else he would send that Vil. Tato did clear out the ships from Dark in the north, but he only has 1 fishing ship there. Tato will remain aggressive in the west. But the longswords they're just like the big thing for me. This is either going to look amazing or it's going to look absolutely horrible. I feel like as much as I'm in love with playing towards your Civ bonuses, I would have loved to see a knight. I think just 1 knight, you can get there faster. It's less investment. We'll see.
Well, so far, only 1 armor upgrade on those longswords. So skirms with Botkin can do okay-ish damage.
Yeah. Tato will see that. He does have his own stable. His resources aren't incredible to make knights, but he's getting War Galley, which Dark didn't do. So Tato still wants to focus on the pond. I think at this point, Dark is going to put less focus and attention on water. But saying that, I see another dock in the west, and I remember he loves his fish traps, so I think he just wants a safe pond at some point.
But without the War Galley upgrade, that will be tricky.
Really tricky. Against Byzantines? Mm-hmm. And that could be the resources he's putting into skirms, the resources he's put into the longswordsmen. And yeah, the Byzantine ships are unreal. Against the Japanese fish tank and against the repairs, it's still getting the job done. And Tato, with the better late game Civ, walls out the longswordsmen. I think he has to be really, really happy. Well, not really, really happy. Maybe just 1 really. Really happy with where he's at right now.
Well, Tato winning 3 pawns basically against only 1. And it will be tricky to have fishing traps around there because it's so easy to raid with normal land units.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Dark will opt for a siege workshop towards the middle. Tato is going only skirmishers right now. But with hitting and running, skirmishers can weaken those longswords over time. The longswords are just too slow. I don't even think he got squires, by the way. So they're really slow. And only 1 armor upgrade. So there are more upgrades available, but resources are kind of at the limit right now. I'm being told he did get squires. Okay.
He did get squires, yeah. 0.99. I think they're 0.94 or something.
It feels weird to research a tech to go up 0.05 speed. If that's actually the difference, I don't know.
Maybe there's only 0.9.
Yeah, I'll let you. I'm being told.
Yeah. I think it's 10%, so it's probably 0.9.
I gotta say, man, the amount of specific knowledge that certain people know is just incredible. If we were YouTube casting this right now, I mean, you'd be helping me, but we wouldn't have people verifying that. Maybe they're double checking, or maybe they have it memorized. I love it, dude.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of discussion, right? Because I think Archer moves at 0.94.
Yeah, yeah.
And therefore always can run away from the man-at-arm.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, these skirms, kind of annoying right now. I mean, you don't kill villagers as quickly as crossbowmen, but it's cheap for Tata to invest into this. And also a small bonus, those houses that he built on the front give him full vision of that TC, so he knows it's there. He also knows it's not walled. And he knows the siege workshop was in the middle as well, so he might assume there's a mangonel chasing him right now.
Yeah, reasonable vision, for sure. Outpost at the top is just crazy how much he sees.
Tato 3 town centers. Look at those ecotechs. Bosal in already. Horse Collar's in for a healthy amount of farms. He won't be fish trapping. First Relic is coming in, and not only are Byzantines one of the best late game civs in general, but Japanese can have some really tough matchups in Imp against civs that have skirms and bombard cannons, and Byzantines do have that.
Yeah, kind of need all the upgrades that we saw from Viper, for example, right? Cataperupto, then try to move around with some towers. That's your way to play. Otherwise, Byzantines should have the advantage.
Tato pretty patient right now. It's a bit weird to go for a skirmisher raid, but Nilly, you would know. This can sometimes be one of the best things to raid with. They're not going to expect it. Remember,
is that my signature move? Do people know that?
I know that.
Okay, I love skirmishers.
I don't remember who it was.
Cannons and skirmishers.
I don't remember who you skirm raided against, though. I remember the game, but I don't remember the player. But the skirms are here, and Dark is doing a whole lot of chasing. Tato can then bring the siege and the knights around the outside. And it's Dark. Dark needs an engagement. He needs his siege to catch up. He has 3 scorpions and 1 mangonel, and he just can't catch up to these freaking skirms.
Now one is trying to cut them off at the right-hand side, but soon skirms can simply run away. Villagers trying to get the walls up.
Yeah, Dark thought about maybe I could place a house to stop the knights from coming in, but that's insane. Tato just looped the whole way around his opponent's base to then be able to escape with the skirmishers anyways. The knights won't kill the scorpions, but Tato is making Dark work incredibly hard, and the clock is ticking. Res collected's pretty close, and for Byzantines, Imp is cheaper. So you just wonder when Dark is going to find that turnaround moment and what he's going to lean into.
So the second armor upgrade for his infantry has 1 single man-at-arm or longsword man on the field. It's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah. I wonder if Dark's thinking, maybe I could have boomed instead of the early longsword. Maybe I could have gone skirm siege. And it just... What happened, I think, for Dark was he was expecting to have a lot of fishing ships. But Tato beat him in the north, and Tato beat him in the west. And he didn't end up having the fishing eco that he would have wanted to fund his place in Castle.
Yeah. And, well, Tato with winning the right-hand side, he even goes for gill nets and some extra fishing ships. Didn't have a single fishing ship this whole game in the top pond, so only took it away from Dark, but didn't really benefit himself.
Yeah. Normally, the middle of the map in these situations is going to be key, and Tato is right now camping on that. He is walking forward with Vils like he wants to build a castle. I think this is a TC gather point issue. All of his TCs are sending Vils forward right now, Nilly. I think he realizes that, and I think when you see that many Vils there, you should know that your rally points were set forward if it wasn't intentional.
And now the awkward moment. Okay, what do I do with those 8 villages in the front? Okay, 1 outpost here, an outpost there. Let's put another mining camp.
That's funny. And then he just sends more to stone, which honestly he probably needed anyways, so that's not that big a deal.
Yeah, a castle where his skirms are right now would be absolutely a dream.
Yeah, he's actually very light on gold, so he can't really buy some stone. Look at Dark's resources, though. Dark is making more longswords. I think he's going to play champion here.
Triple Rex. But Tato is tacking into crossbows.
Yeah. Well, Tato saw more longswordsmen with his knights when he just dove in. And he also, if he was attentive enough, would have clicked them and seen the upgrades. Now, we kind of expect that the opponent's going to know, but that's not always the case. I would expect at least here. Tato, yeah, you see the numbers, and you know you need something other than skirmishers.
300, soon 400 stone in the bank for Tato. Is there a timing for Dark to maybe reclaim this hill?
I think if the timing is there, it is when the castle is being built. Because he needs
Before Bracer.
more numbers. Yeah, and before Bracer. But the problem is for him, he can't see what's there. So it's hard for him to make an assessment on what he's running into. And I think the first sight of crossbowman, and he thinks, I'm not going to have enough. I think running up that hill looks like suicide right now.
No ballistics for Tato. Does he want to squeeze that in? Might delay chemistry a bit. Dark is coming.
Here he is. There are scorpions behind. Now Dark will use the longswords for the mangonel first. Tato, will he build this castle here? Seems like he's going to. There's the foundation. That's a lot of range units for Tato. He can't build the castle just yet. Now he is. But nearly, that's so many range units. There's a mangonel behind the castle foundation. The knights snipe the scorpions. Tato's castle most likely going to go up. He's just got so much resistance here.
Something bugged out with his villagers. Half of them are stuck at the mining camp. He's not building the castle fast enough.
Oh, shoot. That's true. I guess it's then, is his army strong enough to win this? He only has 2 crossbows, actually. There's still a lot of longswords coming. Tato, is he going to lose his castle?
That's not enough vills. Mangonel, he has to back up.
The longswords need to focus on the vills, though. If they don't focus on the vills, the castle could still complete. No way this is a doubt castle. No way this is a doubt castle. No way Dark can actually do this. The longsword spam is unreal. He's got 20 of them. He's got skirms with ballistics 2-0, and the castle is denied at 85%.
I could not believe that. If he had the 5 more villagers, he would have easily finished the castle, and there's no way for Dark to contest this. But now the upgrades are coming in. Tato is not holding this hill.
No, he's not. And Dark, credit to him, his eco is insane. He'll build his own castle behind this. And Tato might have just fallen apart here at the critical moment. Dark has continued to fight. And 22 longswords. 22. That's more ranged units than Tato has.
And Tato is now trying to go for hand cannoneers most likely, but skirm count is reasonable for Dark as well.
Yeah.
He can focus those down.
I really think Dark should get Villager and Stonewall the middle there. Gate and Stonewall. Just block that off. There will be a moment where Tato could maybe win some fights and get back out there. It's absolutely critical in that tight of a choke point that you wall it up, in my opinion.
Yeah, already did some damage. Maybe just focus your first 2 traps on it as well. Might be an option there.
I mean, Dark's gonna win this game if that castle doesn't go up. Look at how many vills Tato's building that TC with. This is a panic moment for Tato. I can't believe it. I don't think he can believe it. And maybe he just didn't expect Dark to have this much production.
Absolute madman, Dark. What a beautiful timing he found. Tato, some Stonewalls could have helped. Maybe some Scorpions could have helped. But Dark just swarmed him.
25 eco lead for Dark. The castle foundation still at 90%. We have champion on the way. Faster attacking champion for the Japanese. That is a big upgrade. And the counter to that would be arbalest and hand cannon. But for that, Dark could have skirms.
Now we're adding some more knights against the skirmishers, but with soon 20 champions on the field, I don't think knights from Byzantines will do the job.
Yep, it's desperation mode for Tato. Let's also think about his long-term gold. There's a 4-tile gold that he can't take outside of his walls right now. He has gold in the back, but it's just, if you don't have the map control in this scenario, it's very hard to make decisions.
Tato's sending the boys.
Oh, man, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if this castle actually goes up. It should never go up. It should never go up. That should always be a wall. The castle will go up. Tato will have a Byzantine castle in the middle of the map next to all of this army. And now Dark has got to be kicking himself.
And he can build cataphracts. Cataphracts are great against champions.
He has the armor, right? He already has the armor. So, kind of funny. Tato might need murder holes to hit the Treb from Dark. Or he could use his vills. Okay. Villager v Trebuchet. And Trebuchet will probably go down, but the castle's going to go down as well. And Treb actually survives, but there's more Trebs behind this. And Arson from Dark is his response. He says, screw your castle. Champions v Castle is the play.
Champions have extra bonus damage against buildings, and a Byzantine castle on the hill is actually falling.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, I mean, for as good a moment it was for Dark to win the middle, it felt like a little bit of a gift from Tato, right? And I think Dark just gave Tato that gift back into the game as well. So very high-level play, but the rare critical slip-up from both brings us to this position. Tato has 4 relics. Tato is Byzantines. Tato is building a castle in the north. This is a great civ for Tato to have in this scenario, and he has re-popped up. He's got up to 160 pop because of Dark dealing with that castle.
Tato still doesn't have ballistics.
Also, that's a really big upgrade to miss. I kept looking and expecting he would get it. He never did. Look at the towers from Dark, by the way. Guard tower in. He didn't get Yasama yet, but these towers could be really difficult for Tato to contend with.
More towers in the middle as well. Love to see that.
I mean, if Dark can tower that stone and take all that stone, that's an extra 8 or so towers, too. And with Japanese, you probably don't want to go Samurai here. You pretty much just need 1 castle to produce Trebs, and beyond that, I like spending your stone on towers. That's what this... Nilly, don't want to be a Cav Archer hater here, but this is Japanese. This is the Japanese identity. Infantry, skirmisher, towers, and Trebs. You love to see it.
Oh, well, he goes for Jasima first. CA? Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Maybe not enough gold control for it.
Tato is just... There's too many things happening. He can't keep up with the towers that are coming around his wood lines and the golds in the south. He now has trebuchets to deal with that he can't deal with because the towers are there. Keep is on the way for Dark. He did toss away a bunch of champions into the meat grinder, but Tato can kill them by hitting and running, and he's running into the back of his base right now.
And Tato losing that castle means he can't produce any more traps, and he loses a crucial area that is actually protecting Zico, but he's open in the middle anyways.
These towers are everywhere. I think he's about to hit 10 towers. And now, this time, Dark will dive underneath the TC with champions and skirms. So he should be able to kill off those hand cannons.
Americans are trying to get some kills, but Tato, he won't win this game.
Dark wins another one. 2-0. You know, I see some questions right now from some people who obviously probably very familiar with the top talents in the scene. And there's a couple questions of who is Dark? Well, FYI, Dark is 20 years old. He's actually been playing competitive AoE for around 10 years, and he's in his best form ever, nearly. 2 up on Tato.
That's so crazy. Well, he won his home map already. Tato still has 2, but there's still one dark home map. If he converts that, he's through into the semifinals.
Now, for Tato, this is where you need some real mental strength to forget that castle in the middle. I cannot help but feel like if Tato would have completed that castle, this entire game is better for Tato. He had 4 relics. He had the matchup that he wanted, but it was just not pulling enough vills to complete the castle. Maybe not having ballistics and a few more crossbowmen when that fight took place. But Dark, credit him for actually having the guts to move up that hill and not just sitting back. And he produced like an absolute madman, too. I was not expecting him to be able to deny it. He produced 137 champions against Byzantines. I mean, who does that?
Well, a man who knows that the middle was super important. If you want to go back to 36 minutes and 31 seconds,
yeah,
like 36:30, and there you see that the villagers, for some reason, are not all going...
Well, does he drop to stone and then build the castle?
Something like that happens there, yeah. Even trying to go for half speed.
I mean, I look at it. So what that looks like to me is he drops off the stone, and
He's
then
not moving with all of them.
Well, so immediately, like, he obviously drops off the stone separately, and they wait, and then he doesn't click forward with all of them. So I know why some people are going to say that's a bug, but that to me looks like he just didn't select them all when he went to select them later. He dragged them with a box and didn't get them all, from my perspective.
Looks like it, yeah.
Like, it'd be different if he force dropped to the mining camp, and then half of them went and the others got stuck. But that just looks like he didn't select them all. And also, Tato, probably like most pros, won't have double click on for vills, because you could accidentally misclick your whole eco. So it's all down to what you select there, from what I'm seeing. So but like also, yes, okay. Let's even say from Tato's perspective, maybe it was some type of bug. At a certain point there, you've got to look on screen. Your vills are still back there, and just click those forward. And I think he had the time to possibly do so, and it was just... we can think of the tiny details, guys, in the moment. So difficult to do, and so easy for things to go wrong there, and it did. So, yeah, Tato, if he wants the semis, needs to win 3 straight now. But like you said, Tato, in love with the Khmer. We see it now, game number 3 on Zong.
Well, Viper's approach was something between two worlds. Right now, that I thought about it yesterday after the game, I didn't mind it that much because he went up with a better economy and still could contest the relics. He had the 4v1 advantage there, so not too bad. Khmer, I just think that the Ballista Elephant is considered to be way too strong right now.
Yeah.
That's why people want to go for them on walled maps.
Yeah, you could argue, though, it's really hard to get to that when the stones are actually always forward on this map, which is the case, by the way. The gold is always on the back because there's only one in the base, and the stones are on the front. So,
That's a side stone for Dark, though, no?
well, I mean, side front, I guess. Like, it's not in the back.
It's not in the back. It's not in the back. Yeah. But, like, you will get your castle there if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
4 on food.
Okay, so I've got to talk about it, and I knew I was going to have to freaking talk about this. Okay, so an hour ago, Tato messaged me, and Tato said, hey, T90, is it allowed in the rules to stack villagers on top of each other? And for those that don't know, with a little bit of finagling, it is actually possible. Player I've made a lot of videos on, Phosphorus, is always trying to break the game, and so he pointed out you can do it. Tato said, I saw Dark do it in a previous game, and I read the rules, and it's not disallowed, which is absolutely correct. We didn't say anything in the rules. And so if you look, guys, Dark has stacked 3 villagers on top of each other. It is usually not possible if you just normally click the vills to get this many vills on one tree. Normally they bump each other, but if you spam click at a certain direction, you can stack villagers on the tree. So Tato came to me, and he said, is it allowed? I said, it is allowed. That's something to discuss in the future. Obviously, maybe the devs fix or something. But he knew that Dark would maybe try this, and he did tell me that he thought that Dark would try it on Zong, and that's the only map that it could be a factor. So the reason this is important is because you have 150 wood per tree, and if you can only fit 2 villagers there, it takes longer to chop through. And so Dark got 3 villagers on the tree. He's through that first tree a little bit faster. Tato's still doing the traditional approach with 2 villagers on the tree. But actually, hold on a second. One more thing to add. He only ever had 3 there, right, Nilly, on the first tree?
I think it was 4.
Okay.
It was 3 stacked, and the 1 came from the side.
Okay, so to be more specific on this, 3 is actually possible without the stacking anyways on the first tree. So there's not that big of a difference, but it's funny to me that Tato came to me and was just like, I'm aware of this. I may need to try this myself. I just need to know, or is that good or not? And I was like, yes, it is. So
Okay, and now I will take over with my insights.
Yes.
So obviously devs are aware of this, and I don't expect it to be in the game for endless amount of time.
Yeah.
Also, I messaged the 3 upcoming tournament hosts, namely the Garrison, Valhalla, and Rage Forest Masters, and all advised them on changing their rules and actively forbidding it.
Got it. Okay. But it's
So
not...
it's very likely that the next tournament won't have it allowed.
Yeah, it's not, in my opinion, it's not, it's a tiny, very little thing, which probably only has an effect on this specific map.
Oh, no.
Unless you want to stack, like, 8 villagers on a gold tile, which is where it could help your standard eco, right?
That, and you can stack them while tower rushing. You can have 10 villagers trying to rush a wall down.
Yeah.
So tower rushing on Arena will be way better. On Black Forest, it will be very different. So
there
I
are...
think this is...
There also are
actually
other...
would change balance.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So yeah, that's interesting. We may even see a couple of vills stacked on top of each other for the gold, for Tato. But Tato knew that Dark may choose to cut through a little bit faster here. And that should bring us to exactly how the map works. The shrines can produce the priests. And if you can pick up those relics with those priests a little bit faster, get them to your base, that could be better off for you long term. There's 5 relics in the middle. The priests can convert, but they only have 5 range. And I guess if there's any civ that could potentially deny that, it would be the Khmer, because they can go for the fast castle time and add that stable.
Also, it's something that we still can talk about because action will only start in like 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There will be a unified Age of Empires handbook. T90, you were part of that meeting. We had a discussion with all the big hosts, the most important admins, the Players Council, and we will have our next meeting in June, and we'll discuss that as well if we ban it for all future tournaments.
Yes.
Unified AOE2 handbook released any minute now.
Yeah. So and I think some level of consistency on certain things is good. The call, by the way, guys, I think I can say this without getting in trouble. I was told it'll be 1 hour, fairly easy. I think.
Oh, no. I said plan for 3 hours.
Well,
no.
It was like 4 hours, bro.
Yeah.
It was 4 hours, and it wasn't even. We still didn't even get through all the topics.
Well, I think we skipped on 2 topics in the end. But yeah, no. I knew it would be a massive meat grinder. It was less organized than I was hoping for, and I already know what else I want to change.
Yeah.
But I knew it would be extremely painful.
Well, I mean, we're all doing our best to make sure the scenes as evenly matched and active as possible. I love this from Dark. He knows that he has limited time to move out here, and he has brought the relic in. He actually deleted his wall, so units could run inside that, technically. Oh, and then we have a priest race in the north. A priest race. And Dark is going to get here that much faster. That could have been the tree. That could have been the tree in Dark Age. Every little bit counts, and that's why we had to touch on it. And Dark saw the priest from Tato, and he will kill it, but he'll lose one of his own. Oh!
He gets it. But he moved away weirdly there, no? Oh, the relic resets?
What do you mean?
The relic moved?
Oh, what the?
The monk had it at the right side.
Oh, I didn't even... Huh? Well, that's a bug. I mean, this may be paused. We do have admins, like, maybe it's worth reaching out and being like, yo, like, that's a bug. But yeah, the relic just teleported back. Hey, Nilly, is that on your list to fix?
No, it's not.
Okay, add one more thing to your list, please.
That was weird.
I mean, it's a tough situation for Dark, right? Because he already has a relic in his base. I don't think he's going to say no to that and want to restart.
Does he even know? Yeah, he should know, right? It's shown on the minimap.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't think about it. But if I'm in Dark's position here, that is unfortunate. But you have a relic, you're never wanting to restart this right now because your opponent doesn't have a relic. So that is odd. Consider yourselves privileged that you witnessed that, I guess. And 3 TCs for Tato, 3 TCs for Dark. But look at what Dark's been doing with the Saracens. He's been using the market mainly. No farms right now. And just buying and selling resources to get Vil production going.
Huh. That's pretty efficient. Let's take a look at stone. Yeah, you can still sell 100 stone for 115 gold. It's better than being on gold.
Nilly, there's nothing that gets me more excited than a prepared player, and Dark has just been the example of it. Not only is the skill there, but when I think he's out of material to surprise us with, he always has something more. This is so good.
And this is a late pick, right? Typically, we look at it and like, oh boy, it's his first pick. You must have a plan.
Yep.
This is pick 5, and he still has a good opener.
Yeah, it's just... Honestly, it's just, I want to lose my mind over this. He might even lose the game, but this is just, this is what it should be, bro. This is great. And you know, we saw examples of it in the groups with him, but just another reminder, it has not been luck for him this season. It hasn't been his opponents not necessarily playing at their level. He still doesn't have a single farm, by the way. He's even going for a heavy plow before his first farm. A little bit of idle TC time right now. But what a build this is.
He will be behind villagers. I think the heavy plow was quite ambitious. I think maybe squeezing in 3-4 farms before that could have been an option.
It's funny. Someone in chat says that is arousing. And honestly, preparation like this, a little bit. I'm getting real excited, man. This is lovely.
It's nice to see it this deep into the tournament as well.
Yeah. I know other players have some aces up their sleeve as well. But I don't know the full extent. Then
cheating.
Obviously, I wouldn't... what, to put aces up your sleeve?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I guess you wouldn't allow that.
I would not.
So what's the game plan from Saracens' perspective? We haven't seen them played before. We've seen Khmer played. We know about their Scorpions, the Ballista Elephants you mentioned. But how confident do you think Dark can be in the long run with this Civ matchup?
I think the plan is Onager with counterweights, maybe even SO. And then, it sounds weird, but some pikemen in front of it, or maybe some Mamelukes to protect them. I think if we get to like ideal pop 200 against 200, Saracens might actually be better than Khmer.
It's kind of crazy how neither player has been active with priests. They just gave up on that. Because they still could have. I think Tato's going to do that now. Priests are on the way. And scouts are on the way. But Dark is seemingly happy to just be able to get one relic for now. And I think the reason for this, and the reason that Dark's build is so impressive, by the way, is a straight boom. Khmer are normally way further ahead. They can skip their buildings, they can reach faster castle times, and they can get the TCs faster. So having these upgrades and being only 4 or so villagers behind and also having one relic, I think that's very acceptable from Dark's perspective.
Yeah, he has to be happy with this like deficit of 5 vills.
Yep.
It's absolutely okay. Both players should squeeze in wheelbarrow, though.
Tato is notoriously late on wheelbarrow. It's almost an everyday occurrence in a tournament with Tato. He'll have a game where... Normally in the games where he goes all in Castle Age, I've seen 100 vills, 115 vills, no wheelbarrow for Tato pretty frequently.
Oh, okay. Well, that's certainly something to tell him. Should fix that. Especially now with more than 60 villagers. Wheelbarrow would be so much better than adding another 5 vills.
Well, I think you could argue with Khmer you don't need wheelbarrow as frequently, though, or as early. Because you don't walk to the mill and the TC. So I think maybe here it's okay. Siege Workshop is something I really like for Tato. And he sniped Dark Scouts. So Dark doesn't know that Tato is out there with anything but scouts. But it's Tato. It's Zong. He clearly expects something.
Yeah, 4 relics for Tato most likely against only 1 for Dark. But Dark won't mind that, right? If he gets control over the middle gold, he will win the game that way. 16k gold in the middle.
Sees the Scorpion, so knows that Tato is about to pile on the pressure. Already had a stable of his own. Tato may be focusing primarily on getting the relics with priests. He doesn't have a monastery to make monks on the front. So a couple camels from the Saracens could actually put a stop to this.
Tato goes for the force TC, same for Dark. So this aggression, actually both agree that this is just to entertain us, but nothing is going to happen here.
Yeah, the big Castle Age play is what that means, though. That delays your imp time, and they're both making army. So we may see lots of stable units on the field. Now, Tato saw the stable. He didn't see the flag up until this very moment. So is he thinking it's light cav, or is he realizing he needs monks to be around if that's camels?
Well, he has quite some monks on the field. Goes for the 5th town center even. Wow.
I think he's bringing... I can't tell where that monk is going. It could be for the relic. But I think that town center and this push becomes a liability if he doesn't have monks. And yeah, he's passing the relic. Really smart from Tato. Probably needs a few more monks, but that's the way to do it here. And also interesting level of patience from Dark to still not hop out.
What's the plan now for Tato? I think he's just doing this for map control to get the gold. Dive in, dive out.
Yeah, I like this from Tato. Go see what's Dark doing. No loom, by the way, for Dark. He's getting that now. Oh, man, look how many stables are in there. Surprise. And, yep, there's the dive in, and there's the power of going back, as MBL would say.
Oh, one scout at the front to snipe the monk. Brilliant.
Oh, these tiny details are just so exciting, and Dark will get the monk kill. There won't be a conversion, and Tato's monk isn't exactly ready for the next conversion. And if Dark runs past the monk and then hits, which he does, he can get the kill. Gets the kill, backs away, and now he has some map control to work with, possibly.
And that priest only has 5 range, so he can't get the conversion either.
Oh, man. If he had the stone for a castle right now, it'd be the perfect time, right? Like, take the map control, drop a castle on that TC, maybe think about Imp. But Tato should have some moments to think about this, add a few more monks. This is actually one of the most awkward spots ever when you're playing Khmer, because you skip the barracks, and now you think you need pikemen. And people are so resistant to it sometimes to even add the first barracks again, because they're just like, nope, I'm not going to play pikes. I will instead add a few more monks or a few more scorpions. I'm just too far from pikemen being a possibility.
Yeah. I also felt like a siege pike push could have been really efficient there, but it just feels so unnatural for Khmer.
I like the castle from Tato to protect the middle, and I think he's expecting Dark to be up to Imp. Dark is not up to Imp. Dark is actually adding a ram. Dark has got more upgrades for his camels. I would be shocked if this was a full-on Castle Age from Saracens, but it kind of feels like it.
Is he expecting more aggression?
I think so.
1-1, now 1-2 with Bloodlines, 12 camels?
Yeah.
He's not trying to push this with rams.
I think he is expecting more aggression right now. And it's not going to come. And Tato will have 4 relics. Tato will be on the way to Imp. Tato's massing a lot of scorpions. And the longer Dark waits to pressure with this, the better it is for Tato.
And now he's going for pikes. This is so good for Tato.
What's kind of
read by Dark. Probably the first one we have seen from him in the bracket stage.
I wonder, like, just knowing that castle's there would tell him everything he needs. What's kind of interesting, look at Tato's perspective. He didn't see until now how big that camel mass was because of where his outpost was positioned. If he pushes the castle, can he take it down right now?
3 rams quite far away. Scorpions will do some damage against
Plus
those
2 armor.
camels.
He sees the castle. I think he's going to think better of it. And yeah, this is Dark realizing he should never have produced this heavily and delayed his Imperial Age.
Yeah. Second siege workshop kind of would imply, okay, he is trying to double down, but yeah, just uses the market and tries to go for him. But pikes will be so good. Dark needs to get a tech switch in.
Yeah. I know that the Ballista Elephants are insane, but I really don't like committing to that right now. If you're Tato, your castle's got to be mainly for trebs and protection. Maybe later. But Dark is...
Help Scorp are fine enough.
Yeah, I agreed. But that's a lot of rams from Dark. There's nothing that kills rams very quickly, but I guess with enough halbs and scorpions, it should still get the job done.
Has 7 villagers around there as well. I don't think a push is an option, really.
Yeah. I think we've seen players stumble into these positions before where they just misread, but not Dark so far this series. He'll lose his monk. His rams are kind of looking like a liability, and Tato confidently pushing forward, and Imp so much faster. Halb on the way, castle on the way in the center area.
Armor upgrades are coming in as well. It feels like a necessary timing for Dark to jump. He wards behind this. He knows, okay, I can't really take the engagement.
Yep. Tato's still very far away from these scorpions being in their final form. The rams just retreating is the saddest sight ever. And the siege workshops are also vulnerable on the front, so maybe even producing, like getting capped ram might not be a possibility from those siege workshops.
If you know that 10 rams are parking next to your farms, you know something went wrong in your plan.
I love it from Tato too. It was great patience. And you also could argue that Tato's reputation for going all in Castle Age played a role here. Dark is extremely prepared. And I think, in my mind, I was expecting Tato to go crazy in Castle. And those are just those things you don't think about game to game sometimes.
Did not see the castle. Only build 1 single scout. Sometimes if you don't know the strategy of your opponent, either try to build like 3-4 outposts and see what's up, or just build 2 scouts, run around and get the information.
So is Tato, does he need to push here? Or is he actually in a position to hold? He has the center gold and he has the relics.
I think he has enough traps to push and make something happen, right? And right now it's Halberdiers against Camels, so he's happy to trade off armies.
Yeah. These will be 170 HP camels, so they're much thicker than your average camel, but Ram Camel... If it was Siege Ram Camel, I think maybe he could push. But just Capped Ram, especially with how slow it is, it's feeling awkward. And repairs for Dark, as there he is getting the Monk tech, but he doesn't have a lot of Monks. The Rams are not going to be here in time, and Tato with 5 Trebuchets.
Brutal. And the Rams, they kind of need to be in front, need to soak up the damage from the Scorpions, maybe go for the traps. Dark, he's maybe waiting for another upgrade, even goes for Siege Ram.
Siege Ram. Siege Ram's 50 seconds away. I mean, if he had some ranged units here, I think it'd be sick, but just the Rams are tanking, and then there's still so many halbs from Tato. Dark does not have the relics. Dark does not have the map control with all those additional golds. If Dark loses this position, he probably loses his first game today. Those camels were not cheap. And for as thick as they were, oh, they just disappear. He didn't even take a single treb either.
And Halberdiers, even with only 2 armor upgrades, good enough there. Tato with the perfect counter, full Halberdier play against a Saracen player that didn't have any ranged units.
Yeah, and Dark felt like that was his best time to take an engagement. If he waited at all, it would only get worse for him, which I think he's actually correct on. And unfortunately, Tato in just so good of a position. There was never going to be a time for an easy fight there. And well played from Tato. 200 pop, and we're starting to see the Ballista Elephants come out.
Yeah, and now we are switching into Arbalest, and he's switching into Elite Ballista Elephants. That's the next unit that's not performing well.
Yep, and that's just so smart from Tato. He didn't immediately try and go for that unit because it was so expensive. He used the Halbs, he used the Scorpions first, and Doubt said the other day, he said 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in any series. And he says because the player who is ahead feels as though they have to win. And they put some pressure on themselves if they lose that third game. And Dark is the underdog. If he loses this, things could start to get interesting.
Yeah, Tato, he has done some comebacks in his career as well. His mindset is pretty solid. By the way, University dies with 99% ballistics.
Oh.
Dark surely has to think he has the upgrade.
Yeah, he probably will. And even still, again, as the Halbs die, Ballista Elephants are going to take their place. And this seems super brutal. Also, tiny detail, Tato at one point built houses around the 2 tiles of gold for Dark on the right side. Dark needs gold right now. So that is just another small thing that Tato's thought of.
Nice job there. Still expanding more. Camel rates actually were pretty solid at the top. Halb had to clear this one up, and now at the left-hand side, Dark is at it. And for how much ground he lost, it's impressive that he's at pop 170.
Agreed. I mean, again, I think it goes back to how good he's playing at the moment. But I'm not seeing a way to stop the Khmer Death Ball in this position. 3 castles to produce ballistas, access to all the golds. 40 villagers down for Dark. I'm still seeing a lot of villagers around that could potentially go down, or that at least they're very inefficient. And this is good for Tato. Gets that feeling back of being in control that he hasn't felt in a minute.
Tato still no hand cards. You said it earlier. He's pretty late on that. Would have been worth it by now.
Yeah, and that's not really recent either. Jordan pointed that out to me like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh.
We were at a LAN event, and Jordan and I were chatting, as we tend to do, and he said Tato's always late with wheelbarrow and handcart. So I think that it's something that Tato's aware of, but when you're laser focused, like Tato can often be, it's easy to miss it.
Tato was a person that, for a really long time, also single-queued his town centers.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that he still does that. But Dark... 160 pop. I don't know how he's still at 160 pop. For the last couple minutes, he's probably been thinking the same. Like, I never resign at 160 pop, but he realizes he's completely dead. This is just as the Elite Ballista Elephant and Double Crossbow upgrade was in. And Tato gets a win on the board against Dark finally.
Just look at the right side corner. In 1 minute, he's not 160 pop anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, And I think we kind of already said it. I think Tato's reputation for going all in and crazy in Castle Age probably was in Dark's mind there, because he's clearly very prepared. He knows what his opponent's up to and is always paying attention to the scene. And he just completely misread the situation. And
Oh, I just got a message from the admin.
Okay.
Restart the game because of relic bug.
we're actually restarting the game?
No, just kidding.
Oh my, dude, I
calm
was,
down.
thank you. I was like, this is too late to restart. I'm about to lose my mind. Dude, that's not cool, man. Mr. Rules, that's not cool to hear that from you.
Calm down.
Yeah, I'm trying to calm down. Yeah, I again, maybe that discussion can happen right after that, but after the full game, I mean, that would be a completely disservice to Tato there. So I think they may have forgotten the spec delay on this one after having to rehost the lobby. Nilly, is it possible that we could have it so the lobby settings stay the same each and every time, or maybe even static lobbies in the future?
I will send my 7th best man on it.
This is okay. That sounds great. Because, you know, kind of hard to put a ton of blame on the players. Mistakes happen every now and then. Wow. Okay. I'm seeing something that actually triggers some anger deep in my bones here. Tato is walking further away from his base to chop trees that have less wood than the trees close to him. Why?
Bad preparation. He maybe didn't know.
Yeah.
There's no good initial lumber camp, though, in
What?
this one forest.
I mean, the lumber camp to the north of his TC has
Yeah, that's better.
20 trees at 150 wood, which is 3K.
He doesn't really know it, though. He didn't
Yeah,
fully scout it.
maybe he lumber camped too early to notice, but okay. Well, I mean, that's interesting. You figured if you're gonna take a quote unquote worse wood line, you're gonna go for the close one, and he went a little bit far. But Lithuanians, Malians, we are expecting a dock from both. But Lithuanians, we have seen a little bit more on this map. A fast spearman can be very helpful with scouts, and we tend to see a lot of mobility matter in the later stages. So fast trash units, the great knights themselves. But Malians, I think on paper, should be decent for any map that incorporates some water, and that's what we have here, of course.
Well, one of the rare civilizations that has 2 eco bonuses, right? Better gold and better wood income. So it feels like you're super flexible. Crossbows are solid. Theoretically, your infantry is better as well. Cavalry is strong. So you certainly have a lot of options with the better economy.
Okay, so I have started to look at this now after our cast with Viper and Sebastian. I want you to look at the long-term golds, and you'll notice that most of them are spawning, pretty much all of them actually spawn in the north, which can occasionally happen. So long-term, whoever controls this northern area controls those golds.
Yeah, you have 1 big gold spot and 2 small ones yourself. Potato, those are really far in the back.
I actually think, I honestly, and I'm not 100% certain, but I don't actually think you're designated 2 golds. I think you're only designated the 1 gold on this map.
Oh, really? And the rest is random?
Yes, I think so.
Then Dark has a really solid random gold in his back.
I could be wrong. I don't have it all memorized, but maybe it slightly benefits Dark that he's closer to a corner or something. I just really don't know. Even the stone could be somewhat random to an extent. So they'll both click up here, but Tato went for the earlier dock and has the civ that saves more wood for these timings. So he's probably got a civ where he's going to want to compete on water. I'd be curious to see if Dark does that.
Shadow up a bit later. Now goes for the second lumber camp that you wanted to see initially.
Yep.
And yeah, I can't wait for Magugu's next tweet about how everyone should be positioned differently on Jungle Swamp as well.
My favorite thing is Margugu goes, it's way better to be in a corner. And then the next time he was in a corner, well, it didn't go too well.
That was satisfying for you, right? You were just hoping, he's in the corner, let him lose.
I hate it when people oversimplify things and like, a civilization wins and they just completely credit the civ and not the player, or like they say, this is our map, this, or like, yeah. Thankfully, there weren't a lot of people legitimately saying that relic in the previous game made a difference. So, well, Feudal Age will come in for Dark. And he actually finds Tato's scout. That's a very nice find if you're about to hit Feudal. But he runs away, so maybe he thought that Tato would be faster than him there.
He actually played Pop 18. He did Loom, right? And maybe in his mind, that means he's a bit later.
Well, there are villagers on gold for Dark, and his Fire Galley will come out. Tato has not sent villas to gold, so he could make one Fire Galley, but not more. But I wanted to ask you, in your experience, you've obviously covered tons of games, but you've also played. So, what are the mentals like if you're ahead, and then a game like the previous game happens? How can that affect you, potentially?
It so heavily depends on the players, right? Some people think, okay, well, it was your first pick against my 5th pick. This was supposed to happen. I'm still up 2-0. Then there's some people that feel like, what happened to this relic? Maybe I misjudged the situation. And they start to second guess themselves, which you shouldn't really do, right? That's for the analysis after the set.
Yes.
Right now, it's really tough for me to judge what kind of character Dark is.
Now, demo is coming out from Tato. Does Dark see this here? Because he thinks he has the safe fish. And the way those fish are positioned, they are wedged perfectly, and Dark notices in the final moments that is not easy. I don't think he saw the demo when it was produced, and only loses one fish.
What? Wait. What is Dark? Look at the building next to his stable.
Another stable?
What? He has 10 on food.
I mean, he either did not know that he built to the other stable, or has a build labbed out for us here, and Tato's going to see that and say the same thing and go, what?
And Tato should not stop producing spearmen for the next 5 minutes.
well, hold on. Hear me out. You make this.
Have a mill.
You make the second stable, so your opponent makes 8 spears, and then you just make a normal amount of scouts. And then you're ahead because they invested more.
This had to be a misclick, no?
Why how dare you? How dare you doubt the great player that has been Dark? How dare you? He had the wood to spend. But
I would love an interview.
well, he to your point, he can't produce out of any of his stables now, so the food eco isn't really there for 2 stables at the moment. But Tato is queuing up the spears, and Tato is walling, and I think Tato's expecting something. That something still hasn't happened yet. And I like this from Tato. He didn't wait around much. His scouts are still on the front anyways.
And now chat is cheering for double blacksmith.
Recently I saw double blacksmith as Tato takes some damage to the TC, and the player actually queued up 2 blacksmith techs in the original blacksmith. Yeah, I was mildly annoyed, to say the least.
That's fun.
Well, and what you can do, by the way, guys, like it's so crazy. A lot of high-level players haven't done it, but you change your go-to blacksmith hotkey to select all blacksmiths, and then if you have multiple, it just queues them evenly through the blacksmiths. But so many people don't do that, and so they go double blacksmith, and they have to toggle to them both separately, and if they forget to do that, we are sitting here like, what are you doing?
You should do that with most of your buildings. Universities, blacksmith, even lumber camp and everything, right? You can do the upgrades without losing the focus. Market, a big thing as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players who don't. I'm not going to name names, but people hate change, and some people just don't adapt with that. Tato has adapted very nicely. I'm really concerned about Dark's food eco at the moment. He doesn't have a single farm. He's now off of berries. He does have a little bit of deer, but it seems like his plan was to wall here, and whereas Tato's plan was to farm, and while he has walled a lot, at least fight actively with military.
And clearing up 3 spearmen is really tricky.
Oh, and the quick walls from Tato. Dark underneath the TC for longer than he would want, and Tato still won't let him escape, and Dark is still focused on the fence. But look at the shots there for Tato.
Beautiful. And now he's pushing away the gold. Maybe villager kill here. Tato, nice micro.
Oh, man. I just wonder, I mean, you might be right. The second stable could have been a mistake. Dark could start to crumble a little bit here. Tato, the favorite, feeling that momentum. And this could turn around very quickly, and we could be in a 5th game. I think this is a wonderful fight for Tato. He's killed the Vills, and he's weakened a lot of those scouts as well for Dark.
Yeah. Obviously, tricky to take the engagement there for Tato. Actually doesn't want to trade off against the villagers. Wants to keep those spearmen alive, but he still has 4 on the field. And the next group will be even tougher for Dark to clear up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a balance for Dark that he would really want in this situation. When someone's with 12 on berries, that's not because it's their game plan, guys. That's because things have got a little bit messy for him.
Did Tato, he just had 4 spearmen. How is he down to 2? Did he lose some to the fire galley?
Fire galley killed 2 units that weren't the fishing ships. He also advanced forward with some spears, so maybe that was it. That is a lot of scouts from Dark. And so, and he will still know that the potential for damage is there at Tato's base. Tato is not fully walled. But I can't help but feel like if it would have been 1 stable, 1 archer range, Dark could have maybe had an easier time with a few skirms on the field.
Yeah, just the hard approach, right? Micro perfectly then, and it's so much easier to play for you. Because Tato, as I said, just continue building spearmen. And now, 2 already at the front, sends the 3rd one. This will be another tough clear up and a costly one.
Well, he might be able to wall. I mean, if you wall this, you don't have to face the music just yet. It looks like it's going to be walled. But Tato will have a hill to work with. And the villagers can die very quickly. And, oh man, 1 villager down. Dark pulls away. And, okay, Dark will hold on for now.
Look at the HP on the house. Going down already. 2 spearmen could help out a bit as well. Can't really re-wall this. Castle Age time will be way better for Dark though.
I like the resistance to build the tower. I know that it feels logical to do so, but you really want that second TC with Lithuanians. And I also like the investment into stone walls. But my goodness, I mean, maybe you needed the tower. I take it back. This is a lot of pressure.
A lot of your farm food pushed away as well. Idle villagers at the left-hand side could maybe expand a bit more, but it feels like he could be holding till night.
I think Tato, if he breaks through, the scouts can run through, and the archers and spearmen can just not dive through. They don't have to. The scouts can still do something back there. Dark is just waiting. Tato also saw the scouts, so he knows they're not coming to his base. And Tato says, all right, let's go. And now he needs to build a tower anyways. Oh, man, Dark is crumbling under the pressure.
Yeah, but that's okay-ish for him if he somehow saves his woodland. But how can he? It's 9 scouts. He canceled armor, is now researching it again.
Yeah, Dark is unsure what to do. Tato forces that tower. Is on the way to Castle Age behind this. Does have wheelbarrow, by the way. Has a much healthier eco. Has collected 1,000 more resources. And Tato has just been so sure of himself, Nilly, which is so difficult to do after you lose the first 2 games, especially if you consider the second game to be a throw. Could so easily affect you, and it could just, you think it's not your day. But that's not Tato. That's not what we know him for.
Really strong aggression. He will behind solid more than a minute to Castle Age, but look at that economy for Dark. It's in shambles.
Can't build the TC. Doesn't have a market. I mean, this is one of the worst spots that he could possibly be in. The scouts will find some vills. Tato will be patient, though. And Tato just loops right back with this army. Takes another good engagement. Dark having to just quick wall everything. And now 2 knights on the way. If he can clear this up with 2 knights, maybe he could start to stabilize. But I'm not even certain that's going to be too easy here.
Then Tato, 3 TC, full camel. Has enough pike for the defense. Look at resources collected.
Crazy control. And all through the military here from Tato. Just constantly sending that next force forward. And Dark needs this clear up. It's the only way to turn this around. Then what will Tato do? He'll wedge himself into those trees. Could put the spears on the front. And the archers in the back. Ideal world. There it is. Oh, wow. That's sick.
And more archers are arriving. Those are actually quite optimistic.
Yeah.
They will get intercepted.
No, I think they wedged themselves into the trees. Oh, the scouts got on top of them. Well played. Well played from Dark. This could have been so much worse for him.
This is the 2nd knight, 3rd knight. Doesn't get away. 4 knights down.
Loses them all to this tiny army. He'll be left with a couple scouts and a monk. And even here, Tato's archers are still moving through. And Tato, as you said, can just play stable units now. He did get Bodkin for the archers, which might be seen as a slight waste. But when you've collected 2,000 more resources than your opponent, you're still going to be quite happy about this.
Yeah. Also, he will expect Dark to dive a lot of town centers, try to equalize villager numbers, and therefore more damage on the town centers could come in quite handy as well.
Dark, not the first time, deleted his fishing ships. He did that in an Acropolis game once. He just doesn't like to fish trap on these maps sometimes. I think my guess would be he's selecting all, he's like going to his idols, and if he doesn't have the resources to justify the fish traps, he says that's annoying and just deletes them.
Mm-hmm. It's just like fish traps there. It's so easy to raid them.
Yep.
So not really the investment.
I think Tato should have Town Watch here. As you said, I think he should know that Dark needs to do damage, and he also knows that Dark wants those relics. So he snipes a monk with the light cav. And Dark is walled now. Has to finish the wall. He's, of course, chopping through some of the wall. But I would expect him to place a house here, and I mean, if he doesn't, it's horrible. And yeah, he's okay.
Open at the left.
Oh, he is open on the
should
left.
Make sure to be walled more at the front.
Yeah, I also would like to see Tato maybe just leave some of those camels home for now. You haven't seen a knight army in a while. He does see it now, and he brings his camels back. Maybe pull the villagers off of hunt here, too, if you're Tato, because Dark's got a lot of knights, and +1 attack from the relics, and an additional +1 attack from the forging upgrade.
Okay, let's take a look. TC tries to get some damage in there. Camel's the main damage to this, though.
Yeah. Obviously, Dark needs the Vil kills, and so he went for them there, but I don't know if the extra attack is enough for him there. And even at Dark space, this is a great engagement for Tato. Look at that. Killing off the knights. Dark is hoping for better engagements on both sides, and he just got...
Really great moves here for Tato. And villagers, though. Even? How did that happen?
I think Tato's on 3 TCs before he has the food income to go full Vils and full camels. Mm-hmm. And obviously he needed the camels. So I think it'll just take some time. I know it's easy for people to look at the idle TC from Tato, think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
But the TCs protect you. You eventually will have the eco balance to produce. And you got to have the camels in this scenario.
Yeah, I like that. Rule of thumb, 18 villagers on food to have 3 TCs running. He had 15, 16, 17 for quite some time, so he had to make a decision.
Yeah, the only thing I could really say about Tato's position that could be better, when you're adding this many farms, you really do want to have horse collar, but farms are farms, man. He just needs them right now. Snagging that upgrade later on in the game is still more than fine.
Mm-hmm. GC 2 and 3 for Dark. Game could be stabilizing here.
Dark has scouted a lot of this map, so he knows where the relics are. He knows that there's lots of stones and golds in the north. Tato's scouting isn't as good in the north, but he sees some gold. And it's definitely not as good in the south, the scouting for Tato. So I'd like to see him work on that. Oh man, no conversion there for Tato will be frustrating. 2 relics for Dark. This could... If Dark gets a 3rd relic, which he's on the way to get right now, this could start to get a little dangerous for Tato.
Mm-hmm. Goes for the 4th town center here. And then it's full camel. And could get tricky if Dark ever decides to maybe go into Pikeman and try to go for some aggression. Tato even goes for another stable, full camel play.
Also, look at the scout from Dark patrolling on the relic. See, this is the Dark that we've seen today. The problem was he fell so far behind early. But this is dangerous. Camels are supposed to be a counter unit, but if the knight attack gets up to +6, they could beat those camels. Especially if you have some monks and pikes mixed in, as you said.
Knights are going through. Tato with a nice quick wall there. Prevents the knights from getting in.
Husbandry, is that in right now? Tato gets on the other side of the knights. His camels are a bit faster. Getting some hits, though. I think Dark will be going back to a monk here. Clearly, Tato expects that because he's got his light cav there. But the TC's around. Dark should be fine.
Light cav are diving. Camels want to take the engagement. Tries to protect the monk.
Interesting. I'm a little surprised that Tato committed there. I don't think Dark expected it either. But Tato will take that.
Trades a light cav against the monk. He will be fine with that. Tato goes for the 4th town center himself. How much are we committing in Castle Age here, and how soon are we thinking about him?
I think we're gonna... This game might end in Castle Age. I really don't expect Imp in this because Dark will have +4 attack on his knights. And I don't think waiting around is really the feeling if you get that. And here's relic number 4 on the way. That's maybe a big slip-up from Tato not to be more active on the map. So, yeah, I think full army play. This is where Tato's reputation of going all-in Castle Age would feel natural, too. But it is always awkward with camels.
Can't really get the kills there under the town centers. More monks arriving. And Dark pushing camels away with knights.
Dark's eco is pretty ridiculous, too. He has more on food than Tato. And he has 4 town centers. How has Dark stabilized this? You know, so many times when the favorite gets a lead like Tato's had, the game ends soon after, or it just feels inevitable. But I really like what I'm seeing from Dark.
Impressive play. How he got to hold, forced Tato in all those reactions, and added the town centers behind it. He has a real shot in this game when we felt could have been over at minute like 15.
Now, you have to make a decision. Do you make more knights, or do you switch to pikes? I think he's actually thinking about Imp, but I would be quite torn on that question, because with all that extra attack, sometimes it feels like it's easier to spam more knights, but it also could look really bad running into monks and camels.
Tato sending mass amount of villagers forward with only 300 stone. Pikes could be an option to deal with those big fights. That's a nice attack here by Dark.
Some of the units for Tato are fighting uphill. He did just get +2 armor. It is only +5 attack for the knights, and that's a lot of camels, so still camels should have the bonus damage to feel okay in these engagements. Dark pulls back towards his own monks. He gets all those monks onto a camel. That could be conversions for him. 1, 2, 3 conversions on the camels, and he's going for pikemen behind this.
That's so good, getting all those camels there. Now his 3 can heal those up, and that will take quite some steam out of the engine of Tato. He's going for more stone, and he will have to switch into Gebettos against those pikemen.
I think it's a good move from Tato, though, to realize that he can't go forward with that castle. That engagement is... It's not a sure thing, and you could just throw the game, lose the series, be out here in the quarters. Imp should be on the way for Dark. I think he's missing a building, so that delays him ever so slightly. But I think he's got a defensive position where camels can't break him. He has monks, he has the attack, and he can mix in some pikes here as well. I think this is an okay fight for Dark, but let's see. Tato takes it because he knows it might get worse for him if he doesn't, but he's underneath the town center.
Also, most of his camels were full HP, so he felt, okay, maybe I can get the timing before you're fully healed up, but camels really bad under CC fire.
I think I might take that trade, though, honestly. That's pretty much a full reset. And when those knights have a lot more devastating potential to raid and snipe bills, I think that's acceptable for Tato. But you tell me what you think.
Oh, it feels like Tato is happy taking this fight. It feels like he took enough ground there to build the forward castle. And look at the castle for Dark in the area where we said it's so unimportant because the main gold spots are at the top.
And look at the castles for Tato. Tato, castle coming up. Dark might try and stop this. Now, some of the camels for Tato are weak after that, but he does have more. And it's hard to snipe the vills and stop the castle. Tato can see the knights. I'm actually surprised Dark doesn't cancel his castle in the south and build his own castle here. That's an option for him. He's not stopping this castle from Tato easily.
Maybe he thinks he was behind an in timing there. He is taking the engagement now with the pikemen. Sees that Tato did not commit to any pikemen. But this is a fight Tato really doesn't want to take.
Yeah, and he backs away. That's perfect. You just need that castle up. Remember, the castle has Bodkin Arrow, and you can make Gebetto out of it. And Tato's not on the way to the Imperial Age either, which is probably going to surprise Dark. Dark drops a market, which he surprisingly hasn't had this entire game. And he will drop his own castle there. It's not the ideal location, but you need to complete it so you can make trebs.
Dark has 4,500 gold to work with.
Man, Nilly, I love the fact that you checked that detail, because that's exactly where our brains need to be going. But he's going to be Imp to make trebs, and Tato's not up yet.
Herbal medicine comes in. Tato maybe forces a bit of engagement, but against the castle, no way he can do anything. He will have to accept that this castle will go down. The castle more defensively has to be his next step.
Lovely move from Dark to have these knights Now, it's crazy. He actually sent a scout in, I think, to check to see if Tato was walled. But there's no benefit to having these knights around where those camels are. And so many people wait to use these, and you get no benefit. Tato's looking a lot on the front right now. This will be difficult for him to clear up. The knights slice up some spears and vills. And now Tato is walking even further forward. He wants to drop another forward castle.
What? Oh, that one should go down. Oh, now Camel's diving there against all the pikes. Knights are missing, so Gebetos should be really good in this engagement.
Yeah, I just think Tato's just trying to create the chaos right now. But is it too much chaos? Is it the correct type of chaos? He'll lose some camels in this. He kills all the pikes. There's a castle from Dark. A couple Latis on the way to maybe disrupt the building of that castle. The knights are still in the back of Tato's base. And Tato's original castle is going down. I cannot help but think in this moment about those golds in the north, Nilly. And if Tato loses the north, Dark could take those golds.
Yeah, that could be game winning for him. Tato, that's an interesting second castle. I think the third castle, he has to build it in his base at home. Next to his gold there, stop the raids.
Man, I see some people losing faith in Tato, but I don't think you realize just how much time Tato's bought for himself with these castles. It feels weird to lose the castles, but he still can build more. And Dark is... It doesn't have an army to fight off Camel Gebeto very easily. The Gebeto can get a lot of value. And I'm seeing elite Latis from Dark. I would have loved chemistry here. That's more so the play you're used to seeing. Chemistry and hand cannons would feel great against Gebeto and Camel. But still no chemistry upgrade. And he's committed to going Latis. This is like... Usually if I watch a mid-elo or a low-elo game with Lithuanians and they get 4 relics, they do not care if their opponent gets Camel or Halb. They're going... for the Cav anyways.
Well, Elite Lighters are a crazy, crazy unit. The damage output is ridiculous. The raiding potential is nice. And I can't fault him for going for it if he isn't too stubborn.
Yeah. Tato is probably going to be a little surprised to see the commitment. I don't think he's realized yet, because there's not as big a ball of them, that it's a commitment towards it. He might just think it's the occasional Latis or two. Tato would need to get heavy Camel and Farimba to max out against those. And what a sick job from Dark. I thought he really was in a rough spot here. He's held on. He's finding raids in the north. And he will have trebbed down 2 castles. And he has 3 castles now to spam those Latis.
Latis right now are 2 hitting the Gebetos.
And Tato's still making Gebetos from 1 castle. And he doesn't have stone. And there's raids coming in the back. I think Dark is starting to feel it right now. And look at him. He tried to lure some of those camels away. He's microing those units in the back like an absolute beast.
Crazy play. And he clears up the one in the back as well. Just really nice moves. And Dark is taking the pop lead in this game.
I think it's very easy now for Dark to realize where to put that next castle. And there it is, Nilly, in the north.
I'm getting angry. Like, what are those villages in the middle of the map?
They've been forgotten. They've been forgotten. Tato just tried. He got too crazy. That tendency to go all in Castle Age, which we thought maybe would happen in the arena game, is happened here. And those vills are going to go down. Tato now clicks heavy Camel. Is this enough against Latis Halb? Dark will have the Halbs here in no time. He'll have so much gold control. He'll have the 4 relics. Tato needs to fight this right now.
Second attack upgrade is missing. Could help a lot for the Gebeto against the Halberdiers. He's trying to micro. Castle might help out a bit. That's still not a great engagement for Tato.
Still no Farimba for Tato. The Gebetos are good, though. The Gebetos, you don't need to have elite. They do a lot of damage. The problem is they have to back away. And if you back away, you might not have an answer for the Trebuchets. Tato desperate. He will be knocked out in the quarterfinals by the underdog Dark, who he knocked out Yo yesterday. It's been quite a story. And the Trebs are still firing. Every single volley from these Trebs is so critical right now.
With 1 Treb. He can repair against 2 Trebs. That feels doable. Camel's though now taking the engagement against the Halberdiers. Tato thinks better of it.
Dark is taking full control of the north, Nilly. He's dropping another castle. He's going to have 5 castles to make Elite Latis. This is crazy map control from Dark.
Tato somehow tries to buy more stone for himself to repair the castle, but how can he? He can't get to the 2 traps.
Yeah, and the gold is going to be a concern. Look at Dark as well in the south now. Outposts going up everywhere to see where Tato could be. And Tato is going to be wide open. He won't have a single defensive castle.
No Tigui in as well. That could have really helped against potential raids. And now Dark should actually only play Halberdiers now. That's the unit that kills everything that Shadow can build now.
True. Yeah, 9 Gabetto, and that's it. Once those Gabettos are out, full help can do it. And I kind of expect it from Dark, because now that once he's in the lead, it's clear he's not losing games. It was the same against Yo. It was the same against Tato today. There's no doubt in my mind that once he gets into a groove, he's going to kill. And he is going to do it. Nearly 150 pop for Tato now. The Latis are in the back. This is just so tough for Tato without gold. And he calls it. Dark continues the incredible run. Moves into the semifinals after offing Tato 3-1. What a series.
Oh boy. That was so sick by him. So well played. It honestly simply felt that he's the better macro player.
Yeah, yes.
Like, I'm getting Hera vibes. If this is Hidden Cup, like how he was behind and how he fought himself back.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous.
No, I agree with you. He played like he never played a single game like the underdog here today. He played as though he was better, his approach was better, and it was the same against Yo. I mean, just because of the names and because we're not used to Dark bringing this type of a level, I just felt like this was going to game 5 because this was one of the worst feudal ages he could have ever had. and then what did he do? 4 TCs and said, okay, come kill me. Because if you don't kill me, I'm coming back in this one. And that's what he did. And only now can you talk about the things Tato could have maybe done differently. Maybe denied a couple more of the relics. Maybe the forward castles were too extreme, but how many times have we seen Tato get away with that and feel comfortable in those scenarios?
Honestly, I think this Dark run might be more impressive than the Sebastian runs last year. Because this is an S-tier tournament. Everyone is focusing on it. He has proven great 5 sets in the group stage. Now Tato after this. This is a ridiculous run. And
the run's not finished. And let's not forget Sebastian. We'll see him tomorrow. So maybe Sebastian will continue a crazy run when he faces up against Hera. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say than just this player is an absolute beast. It's amazing to see competitive AoE2 played at this level. The tiny details of preparation that are still showing up in each and every set, like we saw with the tiny details on Zong, even though it didn't work. And that makes me think that Dark will take the next 48 hours to prepare some more strategies and really think he can take this whole tournament now.
Wow, that would be lovely to see for sure. And he is facing the winner of Sito and Leary, right?
Yep, the winner of Sito and Leary is who Dark will face. So, I mean, you beat Yo, but you go 4-1 in your groups. Including beating like Viper, right? You then beat Yo 3-1. You then beat Tato 3-1. I mean, Leary's kind of in the same caliber there. There's obviously differences in style, but sky's the limit for Dark.